talk about the whole series, so no more spoiler alerts.
Thank God.
Yay!
Ooh, party. And this is where like the balloons fall down from the ceilings and confetti comes
Yeah,
all over the
cute
place.
balloons. Huh.
We're popping
Oh wait, did we
bottles.
forget to get the balloons? We forgot to get bottles. We forgot to get balloons. Oh well.
We suck.
And
That's what
honestly, I kinda liked that Agnes hated it. Um, it was because I've had the pleasure of doing a podcast with you ladies before, and I had mentioned, I don't know if it was on tape or before, but I kinda liked that Agnes was, the devil's advocate, and that Lisa was like, "Oh my gosh, yay!" But you weren't also like a super nerd like me, where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, these 3 tones mean this and blah 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 blah."
she
Where
like off camera, she totally
yeah.
was. She was a
Okay.
crazy red string chick. Like she
Yeah.
I was like, Lisa,
Wasn't really
I quit.
like, I think Shannon could have been a much more interesting character.
I agree.
Yeah, like, and then that's why I loved your thoughts on Shannon Agnes, because she could have been, a badass jungle bitch, but
I don't remember my
because
thoughts.
you said
I'm
something
so
along those lines,
glad
yeah.
you're here because I don't.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm a big proponent for Shannon. I really like Shannon. I felt that you had that same vibe too, and you were kinda like, "They just wasted her, like, what the fuck is this?" So, I would tell my job that I had school on Wednesday nights, but really Lost was on, and when we first started dating, he was like, "Oh, hey, I have Wednesday off," and he's like, "Oh, well, but you can't go because you got school, right?" Because he and I worked together, so we knew that this was, and I had to tell him, I was like, "Oh, I actually don't have school. I watched Lost." And he was like, "You have got to be kidding me." And I was like, "No, I'm for real." Like and it also worked out because usually when there was a hiatus on the show, that's traditionally when
Oh,
colleges would be
right,
on
right, right.
hiatus, so to speak, on break, so I could have a summer break and, work Wednesday
You're
nights.
working.
But he actually watched the first 2 seasons and caught up. Like he rented it from Blockbuster, and just so that way we could watch it together on Wednesday nights, and that became like our thing.
Did you love
'Cause
it?
he's
Did
like,
you hate it? How did you feel about it?
I really loved it. I loved it because it, even from a storytelling perspective, it started with the characters and it ended with the characters. And I personally liked that they all met up, and I liked that the Flash Sideways was really just them almost attempting to come face to face with their demons before they crossed over. Because I also, I mean, to be frank, even before I saw the show, I kind of always thought that that would be something, or like the show The Good Place, like that would be something where you
Mhm.
have to kind of face, yeah, I know, really good show, face all your demons before you can go on to whatever, molecular structure you are next.
Religions, all religions.
Yeah.
Try to be better, grow as a person, and be good.
I'm just gonna start my own.
Oh Lord. I see
I don't know.
wine. Maybe
That's That's a lot of organization for me. That sounds like my worst nightmare. I would definitely be a follower of a cult, but I would not
See?
be the
See,
leader.
nobody wants to be the leader. I could step
I
into that role. I
Yeah,
will
no,
have
no,
my own
no.
cult. Listen,
Yeah.
we're not jumping off cliffs. We're not
Oh, well,
drinking the
definitely not.
Kool-Aid. We are going to be happy. We are going to have snacks and
and
wine and TV.
Yes. I mean, I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm
be a
in.
good
See?
Yeah.
and we have like
Fun.
also like a fantabulous library until like never
Of
ending.
And
of course,
and
of course.
people
Yeah.
can bring me gifts. That's
Oh, I
that's
mean,
also required. You have to just bring me
yeah.
gifts in order to get membership.
Oh,
And
okay.
but
I'm not,
after that, it's
but
okay.
I do like to think about things like that, but it also holds more to my own life, and I see the circle of my own life. And I think any good story, that has an impact on your life, or any good music can really have an impact on your life. You'll hear a certain song, I'm sure that's true of both of you, and you'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I remember this moment," or "I remember this
Absolutely.
person." Yeah. So for me, Lost is that it's a touchstone, so to speak. And that's why I love interacting with people that also like it, or oh, maybe devil's advocates, as
Oh, I hate
Agnes
it.
was. Yeah, yeah, but also as far as G Young, like, not to sound harsh, but from a writer's perspective, they only created her that way she would get off the island and Jin would sacrifice his life for her to get off the island. And then
That's a good
she would
point.
only, and because they needed to separate the two of them some way, somehow. And also they needed to bring up this whole thing about, oh my gosh, when you're pregnant on the island, like, you die, like, it's really fucked up. So, and
Right.
since Claire had lived, and Claire was essentially an outlier, we had to have some, and it couldn't be Kate because they wouldn't ever really put Kate in that much danger. And he is almost as omniscient as Eloise. Once he clicks in 100%.
100%.
Yeah, he's locked in 100%, but he knows that he can't go alone because it's almost as if his sole purpose was to get these people together. I mean, he was in the hatch for 3 years just pushing that button, and the whole plane crashed because he didn't.
Right.
Like, he is the beginning and the end. He is the alpha omega. Is kind of what I believe. I believe that Desmond was the reason that all of this happened and also the reason that all of it was able to end and they were able to move on. I had heard someone come up with this thought. I don't know if it was you guys, maybe it was, but that when they do get on Ajira and they know it's going to crash, Hurley buys all those tickets.
So
And
no
no,
I
one
think
else could
I think
die.
I
so
said that.
as you said, I mean, the fewest amount of people could die, and I was like, "You're right. These other people are rich as shit too, and they didn't think about it." And Ben literally, because Jack is like, once Jack's on the plane, he's like, "Oh wait, holy shit!" And Ben's like, "Who the hell cares?" I think that might be my favorite finale was Through the Looking Glass, where it's Charlie and he drowns, and then at the end where you're like, "We got to go back." I mean, talk about a mind
A mind
fuck.
fuck?
Complete mind fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
I
Agnes
mean,
was like, "Wait, I like this now."
yeah,
I think
yes,
that's why I was just
exactly.
like, oh, wait,
He's
hold
like,
up.
maybe I will come back. Yeah,
Fine.
but
Voice number one, step up. How can I help you?
yeah,
What are we
exactly.
going to do to help you move on?
Yes,
Voice
yes,
number two.
exactly.
I think I just like my only thing, not question, but what someone needs to do like a YouTube video or a cartoon or something about island life with Hurley and Ben.
Okay.
What they're
There
protecting
must
it.
have been. Yeah.
If only we knew a writer who loves the show.
Oh. Uh-oh. I hear fanfic in the works.
I
Okay,
get
yeah. Oh.
Do you know where we could find one?
You know somebody?
Yeah.
I think a lot of Lisa's gaslighting didn't work because I forget that she said something.
Yeah,
That is
probably.
true.
Yeah.
That is
So-
true. Because I have said some true shit and I have said some bullshit. And
Oh,
you're
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, whatever. The next episode comes and the slate is tabula rasa over here. Like what I
Huh?
yeah.